Ever wondered what the top concerns are for preppers? It's a question that sparks curiosity, and perhaps even a bit of intrigue. After all, who are these individuals known as preppers, and what exactly are they preparing for? Well, let's delve into this a bit deeper. Drew Miller, the CEO of Fortitude Ranch, offers a clear definition. He describes preppers as individuals who stay vigilant, closely monitor events, and remain informed about potential threats. These are people who believe in the importance of preparedness and are ready to face whatever comes their way. To better understand their mindset, Fortitude Ranch conducted an exclusive survey for preppers. They aim to identify the top 3 perceived threats to our society, according to the prepper community. The results? Well, they might surprise you. Intrigued? Let's dive into the results and see what preppers are actually prepping for. Can you guess the top threat preppers are concerned about? It's the loss of the electric grid. Over half of the survey respondents placed this concern at the very top of their list. Why? Well, imagine a world without electricity. No heating, no cooling, no lights, no internet. It's a scary thought, isn't it? Now consider potential vulnerabilities. Our electric grid is not impervious to harm. It could be damaged by a severe solar storm or even a well-placed cyber attack, and if that happens, the consequences could be dire. We're talking about hospitals losing power, food supplies rotting, even nuclear power plants going into meltdown. The impact of a grid failure could be catastrophic, and it seems that most preppers are acutely aware of this. So, they're preparing for the worst while hoping for the best. Who would have thought that the loss of the electric grid would top the list? Economic collapse and bioengineered viruses, 2 threats that are high on the radar for preppers. Let's delve into these looming threats, starting with the potential economic collapse. Over 40% of preppers have identified this as a significant worry. It's not just about losing jobs or seeing businesses shutter. An economic collapse could lead to a domino effect of devastating consequences. Imagine a world where money loses its value, where food and essential supplies become scarce. In such a scenario, survival isn't just about being financially savvy, it's about being prepared. This brings us to the second threat: bioengineered viruses. The recent experiences with the COVID-19 pandemic have brought the threat of viruses, especially those that could be bioengineered, to the forefront of our consciousness. Picture a virus, engineered with precision, that could spread rapidly and disrupt our way of life. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? The COVID-19 pandemic has already given us a taste of what it's like to live in a world grappling with a virus. We've seen how it can strain healthcare systems, disrupt economies, and alter our daily lives. Now, imagine a virus that is more potent, more contagious, and perhaps even resistant to our current treatments and vaccines. That's the threat of a bioengineered virus. In both scenarios, the common thread is uncertainty and the potential for rapid, widespread disruption. Economic collapse could lead to social unrest, supply chain disruptions, and a fight for resources. A bioengineered virus could bring about a health crisis of unprecedented proportions, coupled with the fear and paranoia that come with a pandemic. So, what can we do? Preparation is key. It's about having a plan, stocking up on essentials, and staying informed. It's about being ready to adapt and survive in a rapidly changing world. It's clear that the economic and health sectors are areas of concern for many preppers. Our preparedness can be the difference between chaos and survival in the face of these threats. Now, let's talk about some fears that are more politically charged. Over 40% of preppers have expressed concerns about a potential domestic civil war due to a divided country. It seems the discord sown by our differences is causing a ripple of unease. The thought of neighbor against neighbor, community against community, is a chilling prospect. This fear reflects the deep-seated worries about the societal discord we're witnessing today. It's a reminder that the fabric of society is, in fact, delicate, and can rapidly unravel under the weight of our disagreements. Terrorist attacks also feature prominently on the list, with more than 30% of preppers identifying this as a significant threat. The specter of violence and chaos, seemingly random and unpredictable, is a sobering reminder of the vulnerability of our daily lives. This concern underscores the need for vigilance and preparedness, as the security we often take for granted can be shattered in an instant. Surprisingly, scenarios involving nuclear war barely reach 10%, despite their potential for widespread and devastating impact. Whether it's the Chinese invasion of Taiwan or the ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict, these geopolitical tinderboxes could ignite a conflagration that engulfs us all. Yet it seems that preppers are not overly concerned about these distant threats. The relatively low ranking of nuclear war scenarios might be due to a perception of remoteness, both in terms of geography and likelihood. It might also reflect a sense of resignation, an acceptance of the limits of individual preparedness in the face of such overwhelming devastation. However, this does not mean that preppers are oblivious to the potential for global conflict. It's more likely that their focus is on those threats they believe they can realistically prepare for and mitigate. After all, the essence of prepping is about increasing resilience and reducing vulnerability to a range of plausible scenarios. It seems that preppers are more worried about threats from within rather than from abroad. In the next scene, we'll discuss some of the overlooked threats like natural disasters and the global food crisis. Some threats appear to be off the radar for most preppers. It's fascinating to see what preppers are focusing on, but it's equally intriguing to see what's being overlooked. Despite their catastrophic potential, natural disasters seem to barely register on the preppers' threat scale. Hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and even the possibility of a Yellowstone supervolcano eruption were ranked low in the survey. What's the reason for this? It could be because these events, while devastating, are often localized. Or maybe it's because preppers feel they have limited options to effectively prepare for such overwhelming natural forces. Yet, the aftermath of these events often leads to societal disruption and resource scarcity, making them worthy of prepper attention. Another overlooked threat is the rapidly growing global food crisis. It's quite surprising that this issue did not feature prominently in the survey results. As our world population continues to expand, the demand for food outpaces supply. This imbalance is exacerbated by factors like climate change, soil degradation, and water scarcity. The impact of a global food crisis isn't limited to just hunger. It can lead to political instability, mass migration, and even conflict. The recent food price spikes that led to riots in several countries should serve as a reminder of the potential for chaos. So why aren't preppers more concerned about this? Perhaps it's because the effects of a food crisis are more gradual, less immediate than, say, a solar storm or economic collapse. Or maybe it's because food scarcity seems like a distant problem, something that happens over there and not here. But the reality is, a global food crisis could hit closer to home than we think, and when it does, having a stockpile of canned goods might not be enough. It may require a shift towards self-sufficiency, such as growing our own food and understanding sustainable farming practices. In the end, the threats we choose to prepare for are highly personal, reflecting our individual perceptions of risk. But it's essential to keep an open mind and consider all possible scenarios, even those that seem unlikely or distant. Are preppers overlooking some important threats? It's a question worth pondering as we continue our journey towards preparedness. Despite the diverse range of threats, there's a common thread among preppers. A shared understanding that all is not well with our society. An undercurrent of unease that has been steadily growing, spurred on by the chaos and disruption we've been witnessing in recent years. This is not just a hunch, a gut feeling, or a baseless worry. It's a sentiment that has been echoed by over half of US voters, 52% to be precise, who reported owning firearms. A clear indication that concerns for personal safety and security are at an all-time high. These are not just weapons for sport or hobby, they are tools for protection, a safeguard against the unpredictable tides of societal unrest. And why wouldn't they be? When we look around, it's clear to see that the fabric of our society is being tested, stretched thin by the weight of division, discord, and distrust. The threats are numerous, diverse, and oftentimes unexpected. From the loss of our electric grid to economic collapse, bioengineered viruses, civil war, and even terrorist attacks, the landscape of potential disasters is vast and daunting. Yet, amid this uncertainty, there's a beacon of hope, a call to action that resonates with each of us. The urgency of preparation, because as we've seen time and time again, the chaos of the past is not an isolated incident, it's a warning, a harbinger of what could very well be our future if we don't take action now. Being prepared is not about giving in to fear, it's about embracing the challenge, about standing tall in the face of adversity. It's about equipping ourselves not just with the physical tools, but also the mental fortitude to navigate whatever comes our way. So as we go forward, let's remember that our strength lies in our preparedness, in our ability to adapt and overcome. Because the only thing certain about the future is its inherent uncertainty. With that said, thanks for watching and see you on the next video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more prepping insights.